rahmah, and His mercy upon this gathering, so that when we walk away from this gathering, inshallah, we are purified with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. Amma ba'du fa'a'udhu billahi min ash-shaytan ar-rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. This week's talk, the title that we gave it was, are you praying or are you praying? And it's extremely interesting to see that when the title was actually made, we kind of made it like it was a spontaneous title that we made. And even at that particular moment, I didn't know where we were going to head with this topic. So even like today when I was looking through some things, it was very hard for me to see where I was going to go with this. But inshallah, I hope that I will present some words in front of you, inshallah, so that we can take some benefit from this, inshallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from all types of riyah and protect us from all types of negligence, inshallah rahman. So, why did we choose this topic? The concept of praying and praying. Praying with the word P-R-A-Y-I-N-G, praying, and praying as in P-R-E-Y-N-G. That's right, yeah? Why? So when we were discussing what to pick in the topic area, one thing that stood out from this topic was, what our youngsters are doing today? What are they actually doing today? I mean, what are they doing on the roads today? What are they doing on the streets today? What are they doing in their colleges and in their universities today? And we find that a lot of them, or the overwhelming majority of them, unfortunately, are not praying their salah. They're not going towards Jumu'ah. They are not going towards praying their 5 daily prayers. They are not making supplication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for their future. They are not making supplications for their rizq. But what are they doing? They are praying. And you know the way an animal attacks? You know the way an animal attacks? They are attacking every given opportunity of desire that is in front of them. That's what they are doing. So therefore, this is why we thought that this would be a very interesting topic to talk about. In fact, it links with the topic of previous weeks as well. There is a lot of link that is done with that as well. But remember, this khas message today is for my younger brothers today, and my sisters as well, who are watching, who are listening, who are present as well. That this is extremely important. On one side, you have the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calling you with regards to praying and supplicating towards Allah and fulfilling the wujub and fulfilling the fara'id in the bargah and in the court of Allah Jalla wa ala. On the other hand, you have the desires, the dunya calling towards you, bringing you closer towards what? Towards evil, enticing you towards evil. And many of us, and many of our youngsters today, because the tarbiyah was never given by their parents, they fall ill to the vices that are surrounding us today and the ill temperaments of people around us as well that are surrounding us. They fall for those traps. Prime examples are our universities, our colleges. You know, we were told when we were growing up, we were told by some of our elder friends, they said that school life is very calm. You know, you have a little circle of friends, right? You relax with them, you play your football, your cricket and all of that. But when you go to college life, things change. And we used to think, what's going to change? What's there to change in the life of a college student? What is going to change apart from the fact that we're just moving buildings and we're carrying on our studies? No, things do change. You have a lot more freedom. The people that you used to hang around with, that small community, suddenly has become a vast community now. Now you're meeting people from all sorts of backgrounds. And it was the case when I went to college as well. Even though my college was local to where I was, we met different people from different backgrounds. And then when you went to university, it's a level beyond. Because now suddenly you're meeting people from different cities, different mindsets. Like even London right now, this area right now, I come from Birmingham. My mindset in some things is very different to the mindset of people of London. You know, the way people of London see certain things, I might not see it like that. And sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it could be a very, very problematic issue, right? Because our perspectives change, our mindsets change. Wherever we are around different people, perspectives are changing, they're clashing. But college life was a warning that was given to us by our elders. And they said, this is your make and break time. The age of 18 to 21, taqriban, that is the age where it's make or break for you. If you develop good habits at that age, and if you protect yourself from the fitan of this dunya at that age, then Allah willing, beyond that stage, things become very easy for you. Beyond the age of 21, beyond the age of 22. And I'm not saying that somebody could be perfect at 21, like he's doing great things, and then after that he can become, he could go towards the wrong way. I'm not saying that, that's a possibility as well. But what I am saying is, overwhelming majority you see, if they age from the age of 18 to 21, because that's the peak time for the youngsters to do whatever they want. Because college life gives them that freedom. Or when they've left school, they're going towards work. That's the time of their freedom. Where they feel as though that we become adults now. And we can do whatever we want. But there's a problem. The problem is, at that particular age, the individual thinks he's an adult, but really he's not fully grown. He doesn't understand the fabric of society the way he thinks he understands the fabric of society. So it becomes easier for him to fall into the traps. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ, he said, as reported from Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, عن ابن عباس قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يا معشر الشباب في قريش احفظوا فروجكم ألا من حفظ فرجه فله الجنة. The Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام in the hadith al-Mu'jam al-Awsat, he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, O young men of Quraysh, O young men of Quraysh, do not commit adultery and guard your modesty, guard your purity. No doubt, whoever guards his purity, whoever guards his modesty, will certainly enter the gardens of paradise. And then the Prophet ﷺ, in another narration, he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if somebody could guard his tongue and guard the private organs, I am giving him the khush khabri, I'm giving him the glad tidings that Jannah will be his. But guess what? That's the biggest test that our youngsters are going through today. They're not praying for their marriages. You know, there's a lot of shauq in our youngsters to get married. Alhamdulillah, it's great. There's a lot of pride that they have, yeah, we're going to get married, and I need to find that right woman. She needs to be the perfect one. Yeah? He's just smiling. Yeah? Because he knows. She has to be the perfect one. She has to be that perfect woman. Right? She has to be the same, the way I am, she has to be like that. This in itself is what? It's ignorance. And the reason why is because every couple that get married, there are clear differences that they will find when they are married. You won't have a perfect companion. You will always have something that you clash with. Right? It will always be the concept of clash. But the young man who desires that, he goes looking for that, he puts himself in a bigger trap. Why? Because number one, when he goes and he starts praying, not praying salah, I'm talking about the other praying, the way an animal goes and prays upon his prey. I'm talking about that praying. When the opportunity comes, when a beautiful woman is in front of him, due to his lack of iman, perhaps, or due to the purity of his heart, he didn't understand what it means to control the gaze, or to control the desire of the heart. What does it become for him? It becomes a very easy way for him to commit haram. It becomes very easy for him to slip into zina. It becomes very easy for him to become, happy over what he has in front of him, forgetting the fact that there's a bigger goal out there. You know one of the biggest problems that men are facing today, you know what the biggest problem is? They've lost the concept of masculinity within themselves. They no longer know what it means to become a man. There could be 25, there could be 24, there could be 27, some of them even 30 years old. But they, just like an 18-year-old coming out from college, the mindsets are not developed. What it means to be a man, it's never been there. And a man's responsibility before he ever is to get himself married or to understand what marriage is or for him to understand what it means to have a woman in his life, he needs to understand what the rights of a woman are. He doesn't prey on a woman. He doesn't grab a woman and say, okay, you're mine. The way people are doing outside, that's what they're doing. Literally, they grab whatever they see. Why? Lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, lack of emotional stability. So they grab whatever they see. And it's the same for the sisters as well. Sisters become very naive at times. They think the man that they're seeing in front of them, he's going to give them love, affection. But really, he doesn't even look at that. He's looking to commit haram with you and that's it. But our sisters get pulled away, the way the man is very cunning. Men are very cunning. They know how to penetrate the hearts of women in different ways. And women, being women at times, they can become very naive. Look at the stats are in front of you. The stats are very clear. If you look at the comparison between a man and a woman, and if you see the levels of naivety, you will find that a woman's nature is naturally soft-hearted towards men. So when a man approaches her in different angles, it becomes very easy for them to ruin themselves. I don't understand. Just a couple of days ago, one of my friends rang me. And wallahi, I cannot believe what he was saying to me over the phone. He actually said to me that I wanted to marry a particular woman going back in college days. Yeah, this is going back in his college days, right? When he was like, mashallah, you know, he was at his peak and everything. Now he's my age, he's probably what, 26, 27. Acha. So he wanted to marry this woman. And this woman that he had this relationship with, it lasted for a few years, where he wanted to marry her, but it wasn't working. The things just wasn't happening. So what happened? He kept on holding on to hope that one day I'm going to marry her, right? But what happened? She ended up marrying someone else. And all that time now, it's been 3 years, he said to me the other day, it's been 3 years that she has married somebody else. But guess what? He still has hope, and he said to me, you know, perhaps she will get divorced and I could marry her. Right? Still has hope. Perhaps, you know, she'll get divorced and, you know, there's a possibility of me getting married. Look at the problem. The problem was he let hope override everything he had. You know, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, what did he say? Karam Allahu wajhahu kareem. He said, in any affair that you have, in anything that you want to deal with in life, in any matter you want to look into life, if you want to start up your own business, you want to become somebody great in terms of politics, you want to be anything in life that you want to dream about, have hope and have fear and be in between that. Look at the wisdom. Be in between hope and fear. Don't fear that thing so much that you say, oh, I can't become like this now. You know, I cannot achieve what I wanted to achieve. You have so much fear inside of you. Don't be like that. And don't have so much hope, thinking that, yes, I will become this by hook and crook. It will happen. This will happen. I will marry this woman. Whatever happens, I will marry this woman. No. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, he's reported to have said, stay in between hope and fear. So your heart doesn't get pulled this way, and neither does it get pulled that way. You become someone of i'tidal. You become someone in the middle. But that's the problem. And I told that individual, the friend that was speaking to me, I told him, I said, your biggest problem was you didn't know to hope for too long. I said, now, for crying out loud, wake up now. She's married to somebody else. She's somebody else's wife now. You can't be thinking about these things anymore. Where's the masculinity inside of you to move on from this? Where is the manhood inside of you to say, you know what? I'm going to move on from this. I've got a bigger goal. Achieve your goals now. Achieve what you need to. You wasted so much time over following a woman. Now it's time for you to achieve something in life. But at that time, because the person is so stuck and he's tunnel vision in that way that he wants that thing, you could tell him 101 things, it becomes very hard for that person. But as time goes on, he realizes as time goes on. And remember, that's not with women, that's with anything. You could have an ambition in life to become something. And you could be hoping on that for such a long time. And there could be a possibility that Allah does not grant you that. And someone may come to you and say, brother, I'm telling you, perhaps there's a wisdom that you may rejected in regards to this job that you're applying for. Apply for somewhere else. Apply here, apply there. But at that time, because he's so fixated on that, and his way of thinking is that I'm going to take it. Whatever happens, I'm going to take it. He's praying on that. All he wants to do is pray on that. That's a problem. And on the other hand, with our youngsters today, another big problem is what? They might want to get married. They might want to achieve great things in terms of work and make money and have an ambitious career. But guess what? Ask them, do you pray for that in front of your Lord? Do you make dua for that in your dua? Do you say in your dua, Ya Allah, grant me a pious wife? Do you say in your dua, Ya Allah, grant me a wife that will be the coolness to my eyes? Do you pray for that? Do you pray in your dua, Ya Allah, grant me that job, and if it is best for me, Ya Allah, grant me that, and if it isn't, Ya Allah, grant me something better? Do you make that dua? Do you supplicate to Allah? Or are you just praying the way an animal is praying? Whatever comes to his way, he just grabs it, takes it. Huh? That's the key. What is your relationship with Allah? What is your supplication to Him? What are you asking Allah in your daily affairs in regards to the daily affairs? The Prophet ﷺ, he is once reported, Abu Dhar radiallahu anhu, he says, that the Prophet ﷺ said, he said, wealth is in the heart and poverty is in the heart. Wealth is in the heart and poverty is in the heart. Whoever is wealthy in his heart will not be harmed no matter what happens in the world. You know, if he's got the richness of the heart, anything can happen to him in this world, he will not be harmed. And whoever is impoverished in his heart, he will not be satisfied. And whoever's got poverty in his heart, he will not be satisfied. No matter how much he has in this world, he will never be satisfied. He could have everything in this world, but he will not become satisfied. Verily, he will only be harmed by the greed of his own soul. Allahu Akbar Kabira. He will be harmed by the greed of his own soul. And that's what I'm asking you today. We must ask ourselves this question. Is the society around us harming us? And have we become like those predators out there? Are we, whatever we're seeing in life, are we grabbing hold of it? Or are we first consulting our Lord and saying, Ya Allah, if this is best for me, Ya Allah, grant me that. If it's best for me, Ya Allah, grant me that. If it is better for me, Ya Allah, grant me that. Or are we just going around, whatever comes in our way, whatever we see, whatever ambition we have, boom, boom, straight away, take it. Snatch at it. That's not the way of a Muslim. What does a Muslim do? He makes dua to Allah. He makes sure that his salah is intact. He makes sure his supplications are intact. He makes sure that his food to Allah is intact. And what will that do? You know what that will do? And I'll tell you what the beautiful thing about this is, when your heart is attached to Allah, then guess what? When you don't get what you want, it doesn't affect you anymore. Because your heart is attached to Allah. You know Allah will be granting you something which is greater than this. You will not become affected the way a person becomes affected. Who? A person who has no deen, who has no relationship with Allah. He has no supplication to Allah. He has no prayers to Allah. He has no any type of relationship with Allah. So what happens when a calamity comes over him? He wants something so bad, a calamity comes over him. What becomes of him? He's the one then who runs towards suicide. He's the one then who becomes depressed. He's the one then that doesn't leave his house anymore. He's the one then that his friends are calling him, come on, let's go out for a meal. Let's go to play some football. And he pulls up an excuse. And he said, today I gotta do something. Really, what is he doing? He's in his room, sulking. Or she's in her room, sulking, doing absolutely nothing, just worrying about the state that they're in. And that's one of the reasons why today our Muslim brothers and sisters are going through depression. The rates are sky high. Why? Why are they sky high? Because our ambitions are taken the better of us. We have no concept of tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he said to the Prophet alayhi salatu wa salam, said, يَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ. You want to enter Jannah? Listen to the words of the Prophet alayhi salatu wa salam. He said, يَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ أَقْوَامٌ أَفْئِدَتُهُمْ مِثْلُ أَفْئِدَةِ الطَّيْرِ. The people whose hearts are like the hearts of birds. Look at that analogy the Prophet alayhi salatu wa salam is saying. He's saying, people whose hearts are like the hearts of birds will enter Jannah. And Imam Nawawi rahimahullah, when he looked at this hadith in his Riyadh al-Salihin, he mentioned, he says, قِيلَ مَعْنَاهُ مُتَوَكِّلُونَ وَقِيلَ قُلُوبُهُمْ رَقِيقًا. Imam Nawawi, he said, what does this mean by having hearts which are like birds that will enter Jannah? What does this mean? And Imam Nawawi, he interprets this and he says, it means that those who either rely solely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Ya Allah, I want this thing. I want it. But Ya Allah, if you do not want it for me, then Ya Allah, do not give it to me. You don't ask Allah, you don't say to Allah like this, Ya Allah, I want this. Please Ya Allah, I want this. Give it to me Ya Allah. Grant me this. No. Who are those who have tawakkul? They say, Ya Allah, my heart desires something. I want something, but Ya Allah, if it is good for me, only then give it to me. If it's good for my dunya and for my akhirah, then give it to me. But if it is not good for my dunya and it's not good for my akhirah, Ya Allah, keep me away from it. Those who are classified as the mutawakkilun, those who are doing tawakkul upon Allah Jalla wa Ala. And then he says, or perhaps another meaning of having a heart is what? Having hearts which are raqiqa. Those who have soft hearts. Soft hearts in what? In the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the remembrance of Allah is the thing that purifies our hearts. So this is, my brothers, a jihad for us. That we don't look at the luxuries of this world and start praying on them. No. We look at ourselves first. We first examine our state. We first see where is our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there, everything falls into place. Then we're no longer becoming like predators and trying to pray and listen to things. No, now we're putting things into perspective. Now we're asking Allah, Ya Allah, if there's khair in it for me, give it to me, Ya Allah. Grant it to me, Ya Allah. Bless me with it, Ya Allah. And if there's no khair in it, if there's no benefit in it, Ya Allah, I don't want this. There's a difference between that and making dua in what way? Ya Allah, I want it. Whatever happens, Ya Allah, I want it. There's a difference. The difference is you become people of tawakkul. खुदी को कर बुलंद ले इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से पूछे बता तेरी रज़ा क्या है. And Allah Iqbal, he says, put yourself to that level and grant yourself such tawakkul in Allah. Grant yourself that nearness to Allah, that there comes a time when Allah says to you, you tell me what do you want. Allahu Akbar. You tell me what you want, and I will give it to you. There comes a time when you become so close to Allah that whatever dua comes from your mouth, Allah accepts it. Whatever dua comes from your heart, Allah accepts it. But that takes time. The first step to that is what? Having tawakkul upon Allah. And staying away from that which harms us. Let me tell you another thing. You know when you make dua, always, and this is something that I always say, when you make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, always give salutations upon the Prophet alayhi salatu wa salam. Why? Sa'id ibn Musayyib, he says that Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu said, verily, supplications are mawqoof. They are what? They are suspended between the heavens and the earth. Supplications, your du'as, they are what? They are mawqoof. They are suspended between the heavens and the earth. Nothing ascends from it. Nothing goes beyond it until you send salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahu Akbar. Until you send salawat your du'as go. They reach beyond that point. If you don't recite salawat, no, that's the nuskha. That's the ingredients for success. When you make dua, recite salutations upon the Prophet ﷺ. And it's not me making it up. This is mentioned in Sunan al-Tirmidhi. And it's not even a hadith which is classified as weak. It's sahih li ghayrihi, according to the ulama. So therefore, recite durood upon the Prophet ﷺ in your dua. So when you make dua to Allah, there's a chance that the dua becomes accepted. So, what are we learning from this first segment of this topic is what? Examine yourself. Go home today, examine yourself. Do tafakkur over your life. Think about your life. Think about your daily activities, my young brothers and sisters who are listening. Think about it when you're in colleges, when you're in your universities, when you're in your workplaces. Think. When an opportunity comes in front of you, are you having tawakkul upon Allah, or are you just going like a predator? Finding it, taking it with two hands? Are you becoming like that? Or are you becoming those who give their way, they give their heart in the court of Allah and say, Ya Allah, you grant me what is best for me? Are you that type of a person, or are you this type of a person? Are you a predator, or are you a musalli, the one who constantly makes supplications to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What are you? Ask yourself this question. I need to ask myself this question as well. What am I? When I sit on the minbar, what am I doing it for? Who am I doing it for? Is it so that people sit here and say, wow, Imam Sahib gave a great talk today? Is it for that reason? That my ambitions are becoming, fulfilled? That people are praising me and giving me a big name? Is that what I'm here for? Or am I here for, Ya Allah, I'm trying my best. Ya Allah, if there's any khair in my work, Ya Allah, grant me more. Yeah? Tawajjuh. Mindset, extremely important. Don't become predators. Wallahi, you become predators. If you become like those predators that are ruining their lives, there is nothing good that will come to you. Another brother, he asked me this question, and I end on this inshallah. He asked me this question, he said, why is it that some of my friends, they have every single thing that they ever wanted, and I'm trying my best and nothing's working for me? So he said, I don't understand. My friends, they all graduated from university, they're earning big money now, they've got their own houses now, they're married as well, some of them even got children, and I'm here struggling. I'm barely got a penny to my name. I can't even find a suitable spouse. I can't even apply for anything anymore. Because everything I'm applying for is getting rejected. So what is happening? He asked me this. And I said to him, perhaps you haven't seen the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unfold in front of you. And why? He said, how is that possible? And I said to him, listen, let me tell you, when a person is loved by Allah, Allah gives him signals. What does He give him? Signals, indications. Allah grants him indications and signals. How so? He's living his life, yeah? And one day he commits a sin. He disobeys Allah. What does Allah do? Allah sends him a signal to turn back to Him. How? Someone passes away in his family. Someone falls ill in his family. Someone becomes unwell in his family. He loses something in his business. Or in his studies he fails the exams. What's that? That's Allah's way of telling you, fix up and come back to my way. That's a signal that Allah is giving him. Right? There's a signal. And with that, Allah is giving him a signal and pushing him towards Him, back towards Him. That's a signal that Allah is giving, an indication. But guess what? Some people are like this. They do every haram under the sun. And they are given every single thing that they ask for in this dunya as well. They wanted the biggest job that they wanted, they got it. They wanted a few properties, they got it. They wanted to marry a woman, they got it. They wanted to, go travel the world, everything is facilitated for them. And they're living the life of luxury, everything is given to them. And this is why the brother is asking, he goes, how is that possible? I said, this is why. Because you know, when you become so distant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there comes a time when Allah stops sinning. Because you're sinning again and again, and you have no remorse in your heart for Allah, a time comes Allah stops sending you them signals. And Allah says, now I am upset with you. And what's going to be the outcome of me being upset with you? Now I'm going to give you everything you want in the dunya. Whatever you desire, I'm going to give you everything in the dunya. Because that's all you're ever going to get. In the hereafter, there's nothing for you. Allahu Akbar. There's absolutely nothing for you in the hereafter. I'll give you everything in this dunya. Up until what? Up until the point that your eyes shut and death is here in front of you. Malakul Maut comes to take you. That's it. You have everything in this world. Because the signals have stopped. And I said to that brother, I said, be thankful to Allah that when you are trying to apply for a job, there's a ruqawat that comes in the way. Something goes wrong. Or when you're trying to achieve something as an examination or a pass your examination, there's something that comes in the way that you end up failing. There's a hidden wisdom in that. The wisdom is what? That sometimes when we sin, Allah sends a signal. And in dunya we're being punished for that sin. We might fail an exam, there might be a loss in our business, someone might pass away in our family, someone might become unwell. You might become unwell. That's a signal from Allah that you committed a sin. Come back to me now. Be thankful you made them signals. There are people out there, all their lives they have no aspect of deen. They have nothing in their life that has any ounce of deen in them, and they're thinking that they're living. And if someone says to you, how are you, brother? How's things? How's your business? Alhamdulillah. Everything's fine, my bro. I've got everything, man. I've got everything I've asked for. Alhamdulillah. But really, is it Alhamdulillah? No. It's la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. It's inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un over you. Why? Because the entire life you've spent doing absolutely everything under the sun against Allah, and Allah not loving you anymore. You've distanced yourself from Allah to that extent. The signals have stopped now. Life has changed for you now. Allah's giving you everything on this earth. Every pleasure you want is given to you. Nothing is left for the hereafter for you. All the luxury is given to you here. And that is why most of the billionaires today are who? Non-Muslims. That's exactly what it is. So there is a wisdom behind everything you ask. So when you make dua to Allah, ask Allah, Ya Allah, always grant me that which is better for me. Huh? That's the way you should make dua. That's the way you should supplicate. And then obviously, the mechanism of controlling yourself in the way of tazkiyah from those which are things that are around us, not to become predators. There's a wisdom behind everything. And constantly think about maut. Constantly think about death. Because it is the thing that is what we call the displeasure of the heart. That's what maut is. It reminds you that everything in this world is temporary. The woman you love, the business that you love, the houses that you want, the fame you want, the name you want, anything you want in this world, temporary. All the planetary aspects of your life, temporary. You're going to be here one day, you're gone the next. Finished. You're not going to be called. No one's going to call you by your name. No one's going to give you a title. No one's going to bring you with a title. You know when a dead body goes past, they say your body is going past. They don't say Imam Sahib is going. They don't say Raja Sahib, Chaudhry Sahib is going. No. They say a body is going by. That's it. That's what our reality is. So turn back to Allah. May Allah grant us tawfiq to turn back towards Him. To purify our hearts, inshallah. And may Allah grant me the ability to act upon it myself, and then grant you guys the ability to act upon it and it yourself as well, inshallah. Do not become predators. Do not become those who follow the nafs. Become those who worship Allah by way of becoming musalli. Becoming those who do dua to Allah. Those who become close to Allah by performing their salah on time, by coming towards the masjid. And I'll tell you what's important about the masjid. 7 people are going to be shaded in the hereafter, aren't they? In the karam of Allah. But there will be no shade on that day. 7 people. One of them is who? The young man who grew up having an affiliation to the masjid, used to come here often. He would be the one who would be shaped in the hereafter. So, do shukr to Allah that you're in the house of Allah. Don't make it a burden. Wallahi, don't make it a burden. The masjid is your masjid. It's your chance to reflect. All week we've been running around. We're doing all kind of things the entire week. We're with our family members, our friends, running for the dunya. All we're asking you is to come once in a week. Just relax and think about your Lord. Think about the real picture that awaits us. Huh? That's what we need. Yeah? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq, inshallah. I'm going to the inshallah, straight after the gathering, with tea and biscuits. Inshallah, we will have a nice discussion as always. Some of you, I know that you have to go due to work and other commitments, family as well. I don't have no family here at the moment, so I'm okay in that regard. But I know some of you have majburi, there's obviously families and there's work. So that's not a problem. But those of you who can stay behind, inshallah, come, speak to us. Give your opinion about a few matters, inshallah. Let's see what you have to offer on the table so we can work together as brothers and as a community of Muslims to be united in changing the environment around us and also changing the lives of our youngsters and our people who are stuck in this dunya. We could help one another. That's the whole message. You're here to help one another. I'm here to help you. You're here to help me. That's the way it should be, inshallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us tawfiq, inshallah ar-Rahman. There's been a request for du'as. There's a sister who is undergoing kidney surgery this Thursday, inshallah ar-Rahman. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah grants her shifa kamila wa ajila and grants her protection. Let's make dua, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammad wa barik wa sallim wa salli alayhi. اللهم يا نور النور اللهم يا نور النور اللهم يا نور تنورت بالنور والنور في نور نورك يا نور اللهم يا كريم تكرمت بالكرم والكرم في كرم كرمك يا كريم اللهم يا قديم تقدمت بالقدم والقدم في قدم قدمك يا قديم يا الله يا رحمن. Accept this guiding from us, Ya Rabbal Alameen. If there have been any mistakes from myself, Ya Allah, I beg and beseech you, Allah, that you forgive me, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, on this blessed night of Naseeha that we are conducted today, Ya Allah, we turn towards you, Ya Rabbal Alameen. We turn towards you once again, Ya Allah, in the hope that you will forgive us, Ya Allah. From last week to this week, Ya Allah, the sins that we have committed, Ya Allah, knowing full well, Ya Allah, that you are watching us every step of the way, Ya Allah, we make tawbah for them sins, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Oh, Rabb of the Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, oh, nourisher of ours, oh, sustainer of ours, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Forgive our sins, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, purify our states, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Grant us your qurb, Ya Allah, and the qurb of the Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman. The sister who's having the operation tomorrow, Ya Rabbal Alameen, this Thursday, Ya Rabbal Alameen, we ask of you, Ya Allah, that you grant her mukammal shifa, Ya Rabbal Alameen, that you grant her ease, Ya Rabbal Alameen, that you grant her swift recovery, Ya Rabbal Alameen, for the sake of your Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the awliya al-kamilin, Ya Allah, we ask of you, Ya Rabbal Alameen, that you grant her ease and swift recovery, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Protect her from all types of difficulties, Ya Rabbal Alameen, any types of calamities, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Grant her a swift and strong recovery, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, all of those who are unwell, Ya Allah, grant them shifa, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Those who have asked for du'as, Ya Allah, may their du'as become accepted, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, we ask of you and we have learned today that when we make du'a, Ya Allah, we should always ask for what is better for us, not that the thing that we should always be asking is what we want. Ya Allah, grant us what is better for us in terms of our dunya and most importantly for our hereafter, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, do not grant us that which is harmful for our akhirah, Ya Allah. Grant us that which is beneficial for our akhirah, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, our brother Ghulam Murtaza, whose son is unwell due to an accident, Ya Allah, we ask of you, Ya Allah, that you grant him shifa kamila, Ya Rabbal Alameen, that you grant him full recovery, Ya Rabbal Alameen, that you grant him ease, Ya Rabbal Alameen, and Ya Allah, all the brothers and sisters who are tuned in and are watching online, or are present in the masjid, Ya Allah, whatever dua that they have in their hearts, Ya Rabbal Alameen, accept their du'as, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, may we die upon the Aqidah of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, do not make us become those who have left the path of the Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Ya Allah, when we die, grant us the best of Aqidah, Ya Rabbil Alameen, the best Aqidah of the Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Ya Allah, do not grant us a death upon anything beyond that, Ya Rabbil Alameen. We want the qurb of yours and the qurb of the Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Allah, grant us death upon Iman, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Death upon the Aqidah of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah, Ya Allah. And Ya Allah, we beg and beseech you, Ya Allah, make things easy for our youth, Ya Allah. Grant them your nearness, Ya Allah. Grant them your protection, Ya Allah. Especially in this country that we are living in, the trial that they are going through. Ya Allah, open your doors for your rahmah and your mercy over them, Ya Allah. For your khas karam upon them, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Our future generations that are yet to come. Ya Allah, we beg and beseech you, Ya Allah, that you grant them your nur, Ya Rabbil Alameen. The nur of the Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and that they are protected from all types of calamities and vices. And most importantly, Ya Allah, us and our children, may we become protected from the fitna of Dajjal, Ya Rabbil Alameen. From the fitna of Dajjal, the deceiver, Ya Allah, protect us, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Allow us and allow our children to be in the army of Imam Mahdi, inshallah rahman, and grant us the ability to work under him, Ya Allah, to serve him, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma innaka afuwan كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا رب العالمين. أول خير، آخر خير، ظاهر خير، باطن خير، وبيدك الخير، إنك على كل شيء قدير. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. تقبل الله العظيم. Inshallah, in the prayer hall there's some tea and biscuits for all of you. So whoever can stay, inshallah, do stay, and inshallah we'll have some discussions. Inshallah, Rahman. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's the comment?
That's fantastic. I mean, they're basic.
I literally couldn't prepare. I was on one yesterday. Today, I'm really hard. Really hard to prepare. Why not? Why not? Why not? Staying around, yes? Yeah, I'll be alright.
Turn the lights on. No, that's so.